I guess I just wanted to start and really focus in on some of the comments that you made from a business perspective, because that's where I operate. Our company, as you heard in my bio, we're a full-service investment banking firm. We are one of the largest minority-owned investment banks in the country. We're predominantly African-American owned. I'm a partner in the firm. And so, one of the things that I see that we encounter really on a day-to-day basis is, what path do you walk down in the context of trying to secure business opportunities? There are, one of the things that Erika referenced was around the Small Business Act. And so, and that was basically put into place originally like in the late 50s, modified in the late 70s, but ended up spawning opportunities for minority business creation through opportunities to secure contracts with governmental entities, through what ended up being programs that exist today with large corporations where they think about supplier diversity, in that the folks that they do business with, that it reflects various constituents and stakeholders and shareholders to assure that kind of that redistribution that's occurring through the spend that our corporation has, that it is getting to various groups throughout the U.S. And so we deal with that in terms of what bucket do we want to be in, because you can, kind of put yourself in the minority bucket, and in fact what ends up happening is that there's almost like a ceiling, right? Because there's only so much that you're going to get, because that's kind of what's been allocated in terms of what we're going to spend with minority and women-owned firms, versus if you're in the bigger pool where most of the dollars are, but then are you likely to get access to them because we still think of you as a minority-owned firm. And so, one of the things that, Erika, you talked about in terms of, what's the action for the folks in this room, who are either currently practicing, will practice, or will be, in different, different roles and opportunities from a professional perspective, is, one of the things that I'd like to see is how it is that we just need to have more people who are, in the room where it happens, asking questions, asking the right questions, and bringing forth the right considerations that are consistent with the information, the great information that Erika shared with us to give us context for how did we get here. And so where do we go from here is we have to have folks who are in the room where it happens. And so for us, as an example, as a firm, we're looking at, the boards of directors, right? And so, there's still, even now, and, there's been work where that's not the case, but even now I can go onto, a Fortune 500 company board, and you can just kind of go scroll up and down, and you'll see, 6 or 7 white males before you get to maybe 1 white female. And sometimes you don't have any at all, and we still have that as an issue. But if you've got folks who are at the table, kind of in that room, they can ask the question there from a board and a governance perspective. And then certainly folks who are in key decision-making roles within the corporations who can ask the question, or be the advocate and bring, some of these considerations to the table around, how it is that that everyone is participating in. How do we get to equality, from a business and an economic perspective? So that's certainly where I focus, and it's a lot of the work that we do. We're obviously focused on making money because we're an investment bank, and we have to do that, and I want to do that. But the other piece that I find for me in the context of our role and kind of what our firm is that we also we have to work a social agenda. And I can't say that that's probably the case for maybe my counterpart, at Goldman, right? They don't have to work a social agenda, but we do in order to be able to get access to opportunities. So I would, share that in the context of this discussion.